So I just want to tell you this quickly because today we're kind of telling a little bit of a story, so to speak, right?
Yes.
So I have my own story.
Okay.
So we have the big field behind our house, right?
Oh, yes.
And the last, I'd say, few weeks, like we've always had coyotes back there.
Mm-hmm.
They went away for a little while. They've come back in greater numbers.
Probably because of the colder
Yes,
weather.
and they're easier to see now that there's snow.
Yes.
So we've been watching Stranger Things from the beginning to catch up to the new season. And I've just been having some trouble sleeping.
Okay.
So I'm really cherishing my sleep, right?
Yeah.
So this morning, it's around 4 a.m.
Oh, God.
I am having the weirdest, like Stranger Things-esque nightmare.
Oh, my
Like
God.
oddly terrifying.
Yes.
I don't remember what it was, but I like remember being scared.
Mm-hmm.
And I wake up and it's pitch black. And I just hear coyotes right outside my house, and they don't howl. They like
No, they
shriek.
Yes, they do. They don't. If you've never heard like a pack of coyotes, absolutely like just screaming at the
Mhm.
sky, and they're not like wolves, but they are like wolves in the sense that only a few of them can sound like there's 50 of them.
Yes.
And so if there is a whole pack of them,
Yeah.
it sounds really eerie.
It sounds like shrieking hyenas,
Yes.
if I could compare it to anything.
Absolutely.
And so it's black, and I wake up to this outside my window.
Oh, no.
And Steve next to me, he wakes up too. He's like, "Do you hear that?" And I was like, "Yeah, oh my God." And I'm still like out of it from this nightmare. And I open up the window and I look, and they're right there.
Oh.
And it was the most disorienting, terrifying thing. And they used to wake us up around like 6 or 7. Now it's 4.
Oh.
And it was, I don't think I've been that legitimately scared in a very long time.
Well, and between like 3 or 4 in the morning, and
Mhm.
it's actually acting like December out, so the snow like muffles all the other sound, but at the same time, if there is like one sound coming through, it like echoes it somehow, and then to wake up in pitch blackness, disoriented, to have them screaming outside,
Fresh out of a nightmare.
you would think you were waking up in like 18th century Transylvania or something.
I actually kind of felt how I'm sure a lot of the people who lived during the time of our story today felt.
Oh, it really put you in the immersion of it all.
It did.
I love that though.
Yes.
To experience it for yourself.
Horrifying. Let's start the show, shall
Let's
we?
get into it. Hello everyone, I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Dina. Welcome to the Grim Curriculum.
Before we get started, friendly reminder that we are accepting nominations for our 200th episode. This is a pretty significant milestone for us, and we want you, our dear listeners, to help us choose who we're going to cover. So email us at thegrimcurriculum@gmail.com, or you can let us know across any of the social media platforms. You can DM us. You can shout it from the rooftops. Can't guarantee we'll hear it if you're not that close.
Tell the coyotes. They'll tell
Yeah,
me.
tell the coyotes. They'll get that message sent loud and clear.
And then once we kind of get a few, we'll do a little bit of a listener vote.
Yeah, and kind of see what the people agree on. And then I think we will decide our final favorite. And we've said it since I think probably episode 1.
Yeah.
Or since we even started talking or teasing the podcast altogether. Do not suggest Ted Bundy. It's not going to be him. It's not going to be Ted.
And one day we will cover him.
We will.
One day.
But it's not this one.
No.
We should pick, just to spite his dead ass, pick just like the most random fucking number. Be like, nah, you get to be 302.
Like 1097.
Yeah, like no time in the near future. Let me say that.
Exactly.
But anyway, we want your suggestions. Send them in.
So over the last few weeks, we've covered some pretty big stories along with a few lesser known unsolved cases. And today's story is both gruesome and shocking in every way possible.
We are covering the legend of Sawney Bean.
It is important to note that this, by all accounts, as the title of the episode says, is a legend. While the existence of our subject today is a matter of debate, there's no doubt that this story has a place in both traditional folklore and the world of horror.
When we were talking about setting up our future episodes, what we wanted to cover, Dina specifically said, can we not go back to the UK? We have covered a lot of UK serial killers in the last little while. And I was like, not a problem. We can visit somewhere else. But for Sawney Bean, we are heading back to the UK.
Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of good stories out of there.
But I think this is different
This is
because
different.
we're not just getting on a plane and going back to visit.
Mhm.
We're like hopping in our time machine and we're going all the way back.
Yes. This is, like, old, old, old-timey.
Old, old. So, according to legend, Sawney Bean and his clan of cannibals killed and ate 1,000 people in a period of 25 years during the 16th century, all while hiding out in a cave near the seas of Scotland's southwest coast. Ooh, I
Oh,
love that.
oh.
It just like sets up the story.
Wait till you see the pictures of this cave.
Ooh, ooh, do we have to add this onto the list? Can we go visit this?
Yes! It's
Dude,
very
okay.
dangerous.
Well, we'll figure it
We'll
out.
do it. We'll find a way. Over the years, it has influenced numerous operas, plays, books, and movies. Most notably, it was the inspiration behind the film The Hills Have Eyes.
I will say, I've seen all The Hills Have Eyes. I've seen the old
Mhm.
and I've seen the new, and there's something about, like, weird family clans
Mhm,
in
mhm, mhm.
remote areas that just, like, really turn my
That's
stomach.
literally what this is in the
Oh.
worst way possible.
We're going to start by telling the most common account of this story, as it has been shared throughout this century. We'll also be exploring exactly why the legend of the Bean Clan is likely just that, a legend.
And trust us, after you hear this story, you'll be glad it's not fully real.
No kidding.
I love learning about the inspiration behind horror movies,
Same.
especially when they're rooted in actual folklore.
Yes, I love that.
This reminded me a little bit about the 3rd episode we ever did, The Bloody Benders,
Oh, yes.
except his family makes the Bloody Benders look like a group of saints,
Like Girl
like
Guides.
little angels.
Oh my god. Okay, let's get into it.
First, I just wanna say
Yes,
something.
yes, of course.
You all know by now,
Mm.
my pronunciation sometimes not the best. I go to Charlotte for this all the
Well,
time.
and to be fair, we're going up into, like, ancient Scotland.
If we get it wrong, we've been teased before on our
Mhm.
Spotify comments.
By all means, correct us.
Yeah, you can laugh at
Yes,
us,
absolutely.
but
But
let us know.
yes, you can laugh, but you must correct. If you're just
Yes,
laughing, then that's not helpful.
that's not nice.
That being said, as legend goes, Sawney Bean, first known as Alexander, was born in East Lothian, not too far from Edinburgh, sometime during the 15th or 16th century. The date is up for debate, although most texts say that he was born during the reign of James VI of Scotland.
His father worked as a ditch digger and hedge trimmer, and as Sawney grew older, he became a tanner by trade. Seems that he very quickly decided that this was not the life for him. The work was hard and the pay was meager, so he decided to give up on making an honest living.
It was around this time that he met and married Black Agnes Douglas. She shared his openness towards criminality and was accused by locals of being involved in witchcraft.
Which wasn't exactly like a difficult thing to be accused of back in those days.
I know we're not quite at the cannibal part of this story
Mhm.
yet, but the fact that we have a cannibal and his lovely wife who is accused of witchcraft, it's just setting it all up.
I tried so hard to find more information about
Yeah.
her, and a lot of the writings of Sawney Bean are in that old-timey
Oh
Scottish
yeah.
dialect, which is,
Mhm.
like, impossible to understand. I read some of it to you when we were deciding this,
Yes.
and I just feel like the 2 of them together would have been bad enough.
Oh, absolutely, Black Agnes. I
Mhm.
feel like you don't get that name without quite a reputation. Together, they began robbing innocent travelers, and by some accounts, it really didn't take them long before they turned to cannibalism. They met their way to Bennin Cave, which was in the Bennin Head between Girvan and Ballantrae.
So this cave is, like, kind of near the bottom where the sea is, right?
Okay.
And it's 180 meters deep. So
Oh.
it's a huge cave. It
Like
has all
goes
these different.
right into the
Yes.
cliff kind of thing.
And twice a day when it's high tide,
Yes.
it's you cannot see it. You can't get in.
Oh, I was gonna ask if the tide would come up.
Yeah.
That's also very scary, and if you're someone that spends or has spent a lot of time by the sea, you know the tide is not something to play
Mm-mm.
with because it can come so fast and so sort of sneak up on
Yeah.
you, and then next thing you know, you've been washed out to sea, and that's
Yeah.
it.
You know, I love looking up places on Google Earth, so I looked this
Yes.
place up. It is it's terrifying. It's really difficult to get to.
Yeah.
There are, reviews on TripAdvisor for it, which I thought was interesting.
I wonder if there's, like, official spelunking trips, because that I would totally be down for.
There are definitely unofficial ones.
Oh. Oh, dear.
Yes.
I noting right now, just in case in the future we do manage to go and visit
Mhm.
this, I feel like an unofficial cave diving trip is how the descent
I was
started.
just gonna say that. I was literally just gonna say that. You don't do that. That's never a good idea.
So, you know what? We don't usually like to put a date into our episodes because
Mhm.
we like to think of these stories as kind of timeless. But
Mhm.
I'm saying right here, right now, Friday, December 5th, 2025, if we in the future go and disappear because we went on an official cave dive, y'all have a permission to do your own podcast episode about it.
And come look for us.
Yeah, but beware, because sometimes when you go looking for people in caves, you also don't come out.
The Descent too.
There you go. From their cave, Sawney Bean hatched a plan. As we said, honest work was completely out of the question. Travelers in the area were abundant and vulnerable. The roads to the nearby villages were narrow and quiet.
The only problem was that simply robbing people was too risky. Letting people go would mean that they'd probably get caught and most likely executed. So the answer was simple: don't leave anyone alive.
They also realized that they couldn't simply go out into the village themselves to purchase their supplies. Being seen spending stolen money by the locals was a risk. They had to find their own source for food, and of course, their answer was cannibalism.
This high protein diet seemed to work well for them because it apparently made the two incredibly fertile.
Ugh.
In all, the clan would ultimately consist of them and their 6 daughters, 8 sons, 14 granddaughters, and 18 grandsons.
And we know what you're thinking. How did these grandchildren come to be?
Incest.
Yeah, hence the Hills of Eyes inspo.
I found a lot of essays written about the Bean Clan, and one thing that stood out to me was the amount of them that referred to his offspring as beanie babies.
Oh, that is such a contrast from the innocence and beauty of the Beanie Babies
I
that we
know.
have come to love as
So many of
millennials.
them, and every time I'd see it, I'd just be like, "Ah, that's
I mean,
funny."
I don't know how you can't call them that.
They're
Like it
beanie
they're
babies.
Beanie Babies. Over 2 decades of children grew up in the cave, and together they refined their skills of murder and treachery. Not only that, they had also learned how to preserve the human flesh that they had gathered. It wasn't long before they started to assemble a collection of both salted and pickled meat. Ooh, they got quite a store going on.
Yes, they do. And when we say that they were well organized, we mean it. Attacks by the Bean Clan were said to have been done with an almost military like precision. As many as half a dozen victims could be picked off at once. They were ambushed, with all routes of escape cut off by various members of the group. They were then quickly killed and dragged back into the cave.
It almost wouldn't surprise me if they used the sort of innocent and vulnerable looking women as sort of a lure.
Oh, I could see that.
You know how when you're, playing Red Dead 2,
Mhm.
and sometimes you'll be, you're galloping around on your horse,
Mhm.
and you'll see a woman like, Help, help, we've been." That's what I can
And you get
totally see, and
robbed.
then suddenly all the brothers come out
Yeah.
of the trees. Oh, and, I don't like this at all. Now and again, pieces of human remains would wash up on nearby beaches. They had been so viciously ripped apart that it led the villagers to believe it had to have been done by animals.
The true number of victims is unknown. It's believed to be anywhere from a few hundred to 1,000. What we do know is that for quite a while, the family remained undetected and free to commit as much murder and robbery as they wanted to.
Eventually, enough people went missing that locals became concerned and formed various search parties. The cave was discovered during one of these expeditions, but it was during high tide. This led the searchers to believe that no human being could live there. They've picked the perfect place.
Yeah. The towns grew increasingly frustrated and desperate for justice. Several innocent people were accused of the murders and hanged. Each time, the disappearances continued. In many of these cases, it was the local innkeepers who were believed to be responsible because they were often the last to see these poor souls alive.
Oh, that would be awful. And in 15th, 16th century Scotland, I would imagine especially with the frustration of the villagers at
Mhm.
this point. A hanging, first of all, would have been quite a spectacle, and I don't think it would have ended at the hanging. I think it would have been a hung, drawn, and quartered and, like, head on a pike kinda situation.
You're absolutely right.
Oh, things seemed to finally come to a head sometime around the year 1600. The Bean family spotted a man and his wife traveling on horseback. They were going down a secluded road and were on their way back from the county fair. The Bean women dragged the wife off of her horse, stripped her, and disemboweled her while her husband watched. You would think the banshees had come out of the
Mhm.
forest. Oh,
Think about how many people this is, and they just come out like, they surprise you, and
yes.
then more of them just keep
They just
coming.
keep coming, and you're just 2 people.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it? And so you've got 6 sisters, 8 brothers, mama and papa Sawney,
Mhm.
and the grandkids who at this point could be, in their teens
Oh,
themselves.
yeah.
You're talking like 20, 25 people that suddenly come out of the woodwork,
There's
basically.
48 of them in total.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
That's a small village of
it is.
people. Holy cow.
This horrific scene seems to have given the man some newfound strength. He began fighting off the attackers and eventually ran over some of them with his horse. Just as this was happening, a group of 20 or so people came across the scene as they were returning from the fair.
Sawney Bean and his gang quickly realized that they were now outnumbered and ran back towards their cave. As far as we know, this had never happened to them before. One of their keys to success was never leaving a person behind. This time, the corpse of the woman had remained at the scene for all to see.
The husband was taken to see the chief magistrate of Glasgow, who reported the crime to none other than King James.
Upon hearing this, the king became very excited. He had a long standing interest in witchcraft and all forms of the macabre. King James made it his own personal mission to catch these culprits. Together with an army of 400 men and their dogs, he set out to Ayrshire.
They searched through the forests and anywhere else they thought a family could be hiding, but nothing was found. As they were close to giving up, the dogs reacted to a smell coming from a cave entrance.
Carefully, the group entered Banan Cave, and as their eyes adjusted to the darkness, they were met with unbelievable horrors. As the legend goes, the walls were covered in human body parts that had been hung up to dry. The cave was simply littered with the personal possessions of their victim. This is Hills Have Eyes. 16th, or I guess 16th, 15th, I always forget how it goes, but 1600s,
Mhm.
Hills of Eyes.
And there's barrels too. And these
Oh,
barrels are full of all the pickled meat. It's it reminds me a lot of Bone Tomahawk.
oh, I don't think I know that
Oh,
one.
dude, you should watch it. It's
Oh.
horrifying. But there's one scene, everyone who's seen it knows exactly what I'm talking about. But that times like 100.
Man.
There are two main versions of what happened next. Some say that the Bean clan was trapped in the cave while the search team detonated gunpowder at the entrances, which led them all to suffocating.
The other theory is that they gave up without a fight and were taken to the Tolbooth jail in Edinburgh, where they were later transferred to Glasgow. The crimes were clearly shocking, and their guilt was beyond obvious. Due to this, they were not given a chance to stand trial and were all ordered to be executed the following day. This is serious.
Mhm.
But to be fair, they've been tormenting the countryside for 25
Mhm.
years. And yeah, of course, at that time, the world was perhaps in some ways a more dangerous place to be.
Mhm.
People would go missing, and you would just assume, well, the Scottish Highlands got to them,
Yeah.
the weather or wolves or bears or whatever
Mhm.
have you. And then to finally be like, haha, we found them. Good God, there's 50 of them,
Yeah.
and they're an incestuous clan of cannibals.
And can you imagine what they looked
I
like?
don't even want to think about it. I don't We often talk about what they look like and also what did they smell
Oh
like?
my god. Well, the dogs could smell them from the entrance of the cave, and the cave's 180 meters long.
Exactly.
In Leith, the 27 men were hanged, drawn, and quartered, all while the women and children of the Bean clan watched. They then built 3 large bonfires in front of them and burned the remaining members of the family alive.
I honestly will say, I think the 27 men in this case got the better end of the deal here.
Oh, yeah.
At least it was over fast. Some say that one of the daughters had left the family before their discovery and had settled in a nearby village. Her identity was then revealed, and angry locals hanged her from a tree that she herself had planted years prior. Ooh, that's poetic.
She tried to get out, I
I
guess.
know, that's not fair. I'm not sure on what her reasons were, but she did try to distance herself
Yeah.
from her clan.
In 1696, writer Nathaniel Crouch wrote the following about the family.
About which time a certain thief who lived privately in a den with his wife and children were all burned alive, they having made it their practice for many years to kill young people and eat them. One girl, only of a year old, was saved and brought up at Dundee, who at 12 years of age found. Oh my god, that's crazy! They raised her and then hung her?
Yeah.
Oh my god, okay, sorry. I'll
When she was really little, she planted this tree. And they, like, named it after her or something like that,
Oh my
and then
god.
they realized who she was.
That's not her fault.
No, she was a child.
Oh, anyway, good god. Okay, where was I? Brought up at Dundee, who is 12 years of age, being found guilty of the same horrid crime, was condemned to the same punishment, and when the people followed her in great multitudes to execution, wondering at her unnatural villainy, she turned toward them, and with a cruel countenance said, "What do you thus rail at me, as if I had done such a heinous act, contrary to the nature of man? I tell you that if you did but know how pleasant the taste of man's flesh was, none of you all would forbear to eat it. And thus, with an impenitent and stubborn mind, she suffered deserved death."
I don't think that's how it went
I
down.
don't think so either. If
No.
she was a baby who you saved, quote
Mhm,
unquote, at 1 year old,
mhm.
even if she had tasted herself of human flesh, first of all, she didn't know that.
No.
And second, to bring her up at 12 to be like, sorry, kiddo, your fam was gross.
Yeah.
Be
She
hanged.
wouldn't be like, "I loved it, though."
No, there's no way. She wouldn't. To be honest, I think at that age, in this situation, she would have no idea why suddenly people were turning on her.
Oh, absolutely not.
She didn't know her clan. She didn't know the people she came from. And also, no child consents to come into this world.
No, you wouldn't choose to be born into the Bean family.
I sure shit wouldn't. Jeepers.
And that was the end of Sawney Bean and his Scottish cannibal clan.
Wow, what a turn. To be like, you know what? Can't be a tanner. This shit's hard. I'm gonna raise an entire clan of people and we're gonna eat people to survive. So, all of that makes for one hell of a story. There's no doubt about that. We want to stress that there are many who believe in their existence. However, there is a huge lack of actual evidence.
Believers will say that this is due to poor record keeping, but we do want to know your thoughts, like we said.
For starters, there are no records of missing people around this time, and no records of the executions of the innocent people.
Some believe that the story was concocted in the 1800s as anti Scottish propaganda after the Jacobite risings. In 1843, author John Nicholson included the story in his book, Historical and Traditional Tales Connected with the South of Scotland, which many believe to be full of fabrications.
It is also possible that the tales of Sawney Bean were based on the story of Christy Cleek, a Perth butcher who, during a severe famine in the mid 14th century, joined a group of scavengers. When a member of their party died, he put his skills to use and provided his companions with a much needed meal.
The group eventually developed a taste for flesh and began to ambush travelers whom they robbed and then cannibalized.
There's no shortage of stories like this. In fact, we've covered a few of them right here on the show.
Like with many stories full of murder and tragedy, there are also rumors that the family is still not at rest and haunts the area where many of the crimes happened.
Several psychics who are local to the area claim that the ghosts of the family are still around. The legend has become a huge source of tourism, and many visit in the hopes of seeing the specters of Sawney Bean and his family.
The cave has even been reconstructed and can be seen as part of the exhibits at the Edinburgh Dungeon. I looked it up
Mm,
because I was curious,
mhm.
and the site isn't very clear, but you, like, go into this kind of cave and then you see everybody, right?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's an escape room.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, hey, if we don't get to visit the actual cave due to one reason or another, I would be down to visit the reconstruction, and I'm definitely interested if it's an escape room.
I'm pretty certain, like, it doesn't say specifically, but the way that it's written is like, "Will you find your way out?" And I'm like, "It's an escape room."
Oh, I don't like the idea. I think the idea of it's almost like a saw trap, the door closes at the
Mhm,
end and then
mhm.
the clan comes and gets you. Ah.
Well, they have actors that come out at you.
Oh shit. Oh no. So, could the Bean Clan have really existed? Maybe not. Or perhaps they did, but maybe their victim count wasn't quite as high.
There is also a chance that the story is completely true, and that Sawney Bean and his clan were one of the most evil families of all time.
We will leave that up to you, dear listeners.
And like we said, we'd love to know your thoughts, so let us know.
I like that story. If it is a story.
You know what? If it's not real, it makes for a great story.
Yes.
If it is real, that is horrific. Because honestly, even if they did exist in that number and they killed 20 people instead of 1,000, still not good.
No, to be honest, even if they killed 5 in that manner
Yeah.
is crazy. I think probably like many legends and myths that have, formed over hundreds and hundreds of years, I think the true story is a little bit of
I
everything
think so
kind of
too.
mashed together. And then because we just don't have the records or whatever, over time it's become that game of telephone where
Mhm.
details of the story have changed, or like I said, two stories got mashed together, that kind of thing. Because maybe the clan was as big and as crazy, but maybe it was several, like, little clans as well,
Yeah.
and it all sort of became the horror and the mystery of
I
this.
can definitely see why it inspired The Hills Have Eyes, though.
100%. Skin crawling.
And fun side note, there was a guy who I think maybe 50, 60 years ago or so was
Okay.
living in the cave.
Oh, no, sir.
Yeah, he just chilled in there and he was, like, on the run or something, but he lived in there for a while. It
I
is the perfect hideout.
It really is for an entrance that completely disappears for a good part of a day, you know, and to be 180 meters deep.
Mhm.
So even if really someone potentially found you and only came into the entrance, they might not even dare to venture further into the
Yeah,
cave.
because the cave isn't, like, one straight shot.
No, it would
There's
be,
tunnels.
yeah. Oh no, I can already picture the scene from the horror movie in my head,
Mhm.
or even like my imagination's going crazy because I'm now picturing like a modern cave diving crew, a lot like The Descent,
Mhm.
like going in and then finding out, oh, hundreds of years later, there's still cannibals living in the caves, or the spooky specters come out to haunt you, or
Yeah,
whatever.
or even just going in and finding a bunch of skeletons.
Yeah, absolutely. I really liked this one. I'm glad we covered
Me
it.
too. I'm very, very
Very
happy about
nice.
this.
We're, of course, in the outro of the episode. We hope you enjoyed. We like always to give a big old thank you to the wonderful people who support us across all the different platforms, the folks who listen, the folks who shout us out on social media, but of course, the lovely people who support us over on Patreon.
Thank you very much to the Grim VIPs, that is Atlantean Jedi, Yegpla, Judy, Steven Centauri, Paranoid Pop Rocks, Bob, Brian, Kevinus Musicus, Nova, Lisa, and Mayhem Mudkip.
Thank you. Y'all are the Titty City.
There is a Christmas sale going on Patreon right now. You can get your membership for half off.
Mhm.
There's a free tier, you get early episode reveals, and all of the other paid tiers, you get video versions of the episodes, a Discord, and a bunch of other fun stuff.
Absolutely. So go check it out. And if you're following us on the other social medias, leave a like, a comment. All that beautiful stuff helps us out immensely. And we recently, or rather, you recently, Dina, discovered that on YouTube,
Mhm.
if you're watching, you can hype us up.
That's a thing now. It must have been a thing for a long time, and I probably just learned it, but
Probably.
it helps with visibility for the videos. You
Yes.
can do it, like, 3 times a week or something, and you can hype up a video 3
Mhm.
times, but it makes it so that more people find us, which is always fantastic.
We are always battling the algorithm gods.
Mhm.
Thank you all so much for listening. This has been
The
The
Grim
Grim
Curriculum.
Curriculum. So instead of a fact, I have a question for
I
you.
love these.
This might be a little longer in the outro, but you've got 1 hour to
Mhm.
hide a paperclip in your house before the FBI arrive to search for this paperclip. Where are you going to hide it?
Do I need to find it afterwards?
No,
I flush it down the toilet.
that is a great answer. I was like,
I
"Oh,
thought about this actually.
that's so interesting." I was like, "Oh, I'll stick it into an orange in my fruit bowl or something." I've even heard people who've answered this question before say, like, they'd stick it in the, like, coiling of their fridge.
Oh, that's smart. No, flush it down the toilet though.
Yeah, get it out of there.
You'd be fine.
Bye.
Bye.